Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Agatha All Along Season 1. So I decided, why not? Just finish this show out. But I didn't want to finish it week by week. I waited till the rest of the series was over, because I'm just like, I'm not wasting my Halloween month slasher horror movie on this show. So I'll just wait till it's done, then watch them like per day and everything. And I did. And the thing is, I still feel exactly the way I did when I talked about the first 4 episodes. But there were some things I found neat about the show, but only neat because of the simple fact I still feel like it was a pointless show. See, here's the thing that you have to understand about me, right? If this was 20, 30 years ago or something like that, then I would say, okay, they just randomly made a comic book show about witches and stuff like that. Okay, fine, whatever. But problem is, 10 years ago, Marvel, the MCU, has reworked my brain and so many others to where if they put out a project, I feel that it has to lead to something bigger and something bigger than that. And then, of course, something bigger than that. That is now the problem that so many people have because our minds have been reprogrammed, with like Easter eggs and like in credit scenes and movies setting up other movies or TV shows setting up movies and stuff to fit the bigger scheme of the MCU and whatever phase it is in. So now when I see a show like this or a show like Echo, I'm just kind of like, okay, what's the point of this show and how does it lead to the bigger scheme of it all? Oh, it doesn't? My mind. It's kind of like I have to reprogram my brain not to think that way now. Because since the last phase has kind of sucked, Marvel is starting to roll back on how they do things, and not everything has to lead up to stuff, and some things can just be individual. But the problem is, even though they say these are standalone things, they still say, hey, we're going to see Death later on in the MCU. Hey, we're going to see Agatha later on in the MCU. Hey, we're going to see Daredevil later on in the MCU. Hey, we're going to see Echo later on in the MCU. So if it's supposed to be standalone and not connect to the bigger scheme of all things, then I really don't want to see these characters interact with the bigger characters for the next phase and everything. So they need to make up their mind, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people say that you don't have to do your homework in order to watch this show. Yeah, you do, because you need to know Wanda's dead. You need to know who Billy and Tommy is, and you need to know who Agatha is. Then, whenever Young Avengers does roll his behind around, because yes, they are still setting that up, you need to once again know who Billy is, and you need to know who Tommy. And since Agatha is now his ghostly mentor, well, you need to know who she is and everything instead of going into the next project blind. So they need to figure out how they're going to do this and stuff, because my brain is still stuck from 10 years ago of thinking everything has to connect. Now, in terms of finding the show like boring, hey, like I said before, I found those first 4 episodes to be boring. I found them to be pointless. I didn't understand. When you start to watch the show, you assume it's going to go in one direction, but then it goes into a complete pointless direction. And I still feel that way now. Why? Because, like I said before, I knew exactly what they was going to do just by those first 4 episodes. Because of the toy reveal, we knew Teen is Wiccan, aka Billy. Because of the toys, we know that whoever Aubrey Plaza's character name is deaf. And I also said that why are they giving a villain her own television show? I bet they're gonna redeem her at the end and everything. And bam, they redeemed her throughout this entire show. It's us supposed to feel sympathetic for Agatha, us to feel sorry for her losing her son and everything, her caring about the team because now she's implanted her son onto the team. So she feel like she has to protect him and everything. And now she wants to mentor him and she misses her son. Redemption and everything. And I said, this would be a discovery show where, like, in each episode, each of those witches in the coven is going to have some self-reflection on themselves and come to realization of something that happened into the past. And I probably also said that they're going to die one by one, and they so did. Now, the one black actress from SNL, I forget her name and I forget her character's name, she survived somehow and everything. And, so that part I was wrong about because I thought everybody was going to die one by one. I also said there was going to be a big battle at the second to last episode of last episode with Death and probably Agatha and Wiccan. And boom, I was right. Also, but the thing I don't understand, what was really the point of Death in the show? Other than to give somebody to fight at the end with a witch battle that was really lackluster. That was no Agatha versus Wanda. That was just them, what were they throwing? Like, they wasn't even throwing fireballs. I think they were just beaming light at each other or pushing somebody away, telekinetic, and it was just lackluster. But seriously, what was really the point of Death? She's a jilted lover. Oh no. So because she's a jilted lover and wants her girlfriend back, that's her whole motivation in the entirety of the series. Her feeling jilted back in the day and, Agatha not wanting nothing to do with her and like her wanting her back and, what was the point in that? Now, I'm not familiar with Death in the comic, but I know she's supposed to be evil, and I know Thanos is supposed to do what he does because he's in love with her, and so is Daredevil. And they fight for her, affection and everything. Of course, that's not going to happen now because they completely changed this around when it comes to the character. But is that really all the character's going to do in the show? Be all like, I want you back. Well, I want you to take me back. Oh, let's fight. Hey, give me that boy and everything so I can kill him and everything. Or make him mine or something like that. Only for Agatha to sacrifice herself because she doesn't want, what's her name to take Teen in there, or Teen, what's her name, Wiccan and everything. Honestly, the MCU still has a villain problem. And why the heck do I want to see Death later on in the MCU if she's not even interesting? And I'm not even being mean. I'm not even being one of those toxic people. I'm being just serious. What is the point of this character going forward? What was the point of that other than her missing her lover? That was pointless. They could have came up with something much more interesting than that. And plus, like I said before, I like Aubrey Plaza. I really do. But she's not that technically sound as an actress and stuff. Sorry about that, my camera died. Where the heck was I? Oh, she's not that technically sound as an actress because, I don't know. It's just like some things she's good in that I've seen her in the past, but it's just like she needs a little polishing. Now she's great when she had the maniacal and evil and everything and shouting. She's great at that, but she doesn't give off this big Shakespearean acting that I was expecting her to kind of have because of how the character is. Eva Green would have been so much better in my opinion. And I do like Aubrey Plaza. And so back to the Coven of Witches. Yeah, like I said before, they go through the self-discovery and, they sacrifice themselves, they die, and that's it. And yeah, that's meaningful and everything, but honestly, I just don't care. So yeah, if you like the show, you'll like that because, it gives depth to their character and everything and some meaning. And so that is emotional and stuff. But the problem with me is I just don't care. And so because I just don't care, I don't care how meaningful their stuff is. Plus, I really didn't even pay that much attention to it. So I really don't even know what the heck they were talking about when they was doing things. I just really wasn't paying attention. I don't understand those ghoul people. I thought they were at least they'll be fighting them or something. But, one thing I did not see coming, something I did not predict, was this was Wiccan all along and everything. It was he who created the witch's road, and it was he that created all these obstacles and magical things that was killing people and stuff like that. Because the whole witch's road is just something Agatha made up so she can drain the power of witches. And the reason why she drains the power of witches, now that has absolutely no meaning for what we saw in WandaVision. In WandaVision, she was a straight up villain. And so we thought, okay, she's evil doing what she does, but I believe the reason why she does it is so she can gain more power, get stronger, to protect herself and her kid, especially from Mephisto and like death and everything. But that doesn't matter because Death just ends up taking her son and takes him in a very lackluster, boring way. It's almost like they didn't want Death to be a true villain because she's the love interest and everything. And it's just like, I don't care. Like, I've seen other love interests be villains. Why can't she? And so like she just takes the son, who is Nicholas, and then talking about I made you from scratch. Yeah, we know what that means. We know who they're referring to. And everything. So it's like she just takes him in the middle of the night. He dies, and that is literally it. So she made up this whole story about like, sacrificing her son just to gain more power, to make her sound like, a little tough. And not only that, but so people won't know she's a failure who fell asleep and couldn't protect her son. That is sad and heartbreaking, but they could have done something more spectacular than that. It's like the writing was so lackluster. I do wonder if the writer's strike has something to do with that, because I was expecting more, something more engaging, something more tantalizing, But with the whole Billy and stuff, it turns out, like I said before, it was him all along. It's to show that he's just as powerful as his mom. But my problem with this is, just like his mom, he created a whole world by mistake and everything. Had no idea he did it, and he is super powerful. They literally copied Wanda from WandaVision. Why couldn't they make it different? Why couldn't they make it to where it'd be like, okay, he does know what's going on. He knows he created this. And he's doing all this just because he really loved Alice in Wonderland or something. And he wanted answers from like Agatha, but decided, you know what, let's have a little fun and play around as well, but things get out of hand. You see how cool that would have been? Then he'd be like, oh crap, people are dying because of me, because I wanted to have fun. Not, oh crap, people are dying because, oops, I made a mistake and everything. And so I wish they would have done that. And so it is interesting how Billy came to be, because I was wondering how the heck is he going to come back alive in the real world? And, since Wanda made him out of magic and this other kid died, his soul just went in his body. So who is Billy's soul gonna go into? Boy, it will be jacked up if it's his boyfriend. And it does make me wonder who they're gonna cast, because the MCU could go any diverse way they will want to, just to like be diverse and everything, which is gonna be a head scratcher if they do that. But yeah. So he feels terrible that he caused all this death and all this other crap. And I'm just kind of like, oh, it's a mistake, just like his mom. So they're just literally copying it. And since it's the same person who created WandaVision, who created this series, she couldn't think outside the box and come up with something more interesting. So now, Agatha's a ghost. She has her gray hair like the comics and everything. And she decides, you know what? I like having you around so much. Let me hang around you, and I'll be your mentor. And let's go find Tommy and everything. So now here they all wandering off and going to find Tommy. My problem is this show just could have been so much different, so much more. Yeah, it kept me slightly more engaged towards the end than Secret Invasion and stuff like that. Because Secret Invasion was just horrible, man. But, you know, I just wanted them to be more creative. That's literally all I just wanted. And now it's interesting because now when the young Avengers show up, Tommy's not Tommy, but Billy's gonna be there with a dead Agatha. So I guess she's gonna be Young Avengers now. Yay! And so now this is two villains that have been wasted and stuff. Agatha and Death. It's just like they're not even really evil. One's just selfish. Actually, they both are just selfish and everything. That's literally just it. Now, I do wonder, how does Billy act in the comics? I don't know anything about these characters. Oh, I'm tired. Sorry about that. I know Billy is supposed to be like his mom, and for whatever reason, Tommy is supposed to be like Quicksilver, which I would assume he would have been more like Vision, but hey, whatever. At least we get a speedster on the show. And it was interesting to see Ralph Boner come back, but just like the fake Mandarin, I don't ever want to see him again. And the people in that town, man, they're just kind of like, oh, this again. I was kind of hoping more to see more of the people in town and them interact and them probably help out, but nah, none of that crap. We just get a weird version of the Wizard of Oz. Like, seriously. If I would have known that's what this show would have been about, I would have never watched. Like I said before, I wanted to like this show. I literally got Disney Plus just to watch this show because I wasn't planning on getting it till much later on. And now I'm just kind of like, I wanted them to be more creative. I wanted them to be more engaging. I wanted them to use powers, man. Like really in a really cool kind of way, you know? But alas, it was not for me. And I do wonder who really truly likes this show and who really hates this show. Because you honest to God don't know because of the way culture is right now. You have the anti-toxic like woke mob people or anti-woke mob people, whatever they're called. They automatically hate this show. So they keep talking about it's garbage and this and that, but you can't believe them because that's all they're ever gonna say. Then you have like, you know, the opposite side because the anti-woke mob people hate so much diverse content and everything that you have other people all like, look, we're tired of you ruining our show, so we're just going to say this is a good show, even though we probably don't believe it. And then this is what you get. You get tons of people talking about it's the best thing since sliced bread, and this is so much better than all the other Disney Plus shows, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just kind of like, you can't even believe them, because they're just going to say it's great, just to counter what the toxic people say. And so it's literally one of those things where you just don't know what to believe if you ever hear or read a review. Like, I still feel this is a pointless show. And for some, that's totally okay because it's just kind of like, like I said, back in the day, if Marvel would have made this, I've been like, okay, fine, like whatever. It doesn't connect to anything. It doesn't have to. It's just like, it's his own standalone thing. Kind of like how Marvel movies were back in the day. I mean, they tried to connect some, but they just didn't and left it in a deleted scene. Like, you had Blade, Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, and none of that stuff was connected because it didn't have to be. They tried, but it didn't have to be, so they just didn't, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like this whole Blade thing now. If he is introduced, how the heck is he supposed to be connected to the rest of the MCU when all this dude does is fight vampires? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Blade is a solo person who works alone in his own standalone thing. He fights vampires. That's as simple as that. when sometimes they try to like, you know, connect him to like other like superheroes like Spider-Man, it doesn't make no sense unless Spider-Man's fighting a vampire. But why is he fighting a vampire? So they create a vampire for him to fight Morbius and stuff. And you know, it's kind of like this one video game. I think it was Marvel Alliance 2. They put Blade in there. And I remember somebody in the comments section asking, why the heck is Blade in here when all he does is fight vampires? And even the people who created the game thought the same thing too. So they literally had Blade talk about, why am I here? Because there's really no point. The only way it would make sense if you add him to a group that he is similar to. So he'll have to be, I think there's something called something Knights that he's supposed to join, or something like that. And that makes a whole lot more sense. It's kind of like Justice League Dark. You have all these magical, monstrous type heroes. And so put them in a group together and then it makes sense, you know? And I just thought about it. If Agatha is a witch and she's able to come back as a ghost, then how come Wanda can't? Like, see what I'm saying? Like now, everybody's expecting Wanda to come back, but she hasn't. And so it's kind of like makes you now wonder what's the deal with Elizabeth Olsen and Marvel, because you know she hasn't acted like she's been happy for a while with them and have been kind of shading them in interviews and stuff. So I don't know. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.